Hello, it is Sunday, October 1st, 2023. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It's a Sunday puzzle today, which means we are going to be solving a large themed grid, and we can see its jumbo size behind the gauzy privacy veil here. It's a debut construction as well, and this jumbo debut construction has been brought to us by Adam and Annette Noble, Emma Smith, Noah Bezanson, and, as always, the indomitable Shoalmaster and the incredible Horan family. So thank you so much to the 5 of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for their generous support. They are, of course, sustaining this channel, bringing us this series. I'm very grateful to them for that. And thank you as well to everybody who's a patron of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign at any level. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your contributions. And if you'd like to support the channel in that way, you can head over to patreon.com/dailysolve or click the link in the description field, and there you'll find the bonus videos available to patrons, such as the recent Boswords fall themeless solves, new one coming soon, because I think one is releasing later today, and also yesterday's weekly mini puzzle pseudo speed solve. So I solved the mini puzzles of the last week, as I do each week, and I did better this week than I had been doing. Got some decent times, so that was nice. You can check that out if you're a patron. Thank you to everybody who is. And, of course, you can also subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Thanks if you've done so. It's a big help. And, finally, you can join the Daily Solve Discord chat server. There's a link in the description field to that as well. All right, let's get on to the solve, shall we? This is a debut by Jeffrey Leese, so welcome to him. It's entitled Film Adaptations. Like every Sunday puzzle, it has a name. And so I'm guessing we'll have something involving film titles, and maybe we'll turn them into puns, something like that. I don't know. But that seems fairly likely. It was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's start solving, see how we get on with this one. Right, okay, we just have one, this is interesting, we just have a single column of shaded cells and 2 circles. And that's it. Semi-autobiographical film set in rural Montana, 1992. Not sure offhand, I might recognize it when we get there. Flowers that Tiny Tim tiptoed through in a 1968. The tulip, tiptoe through the tulips. Yeah, I can sort of hear that in my mind slightly. It's a very distinctive performance. Yeah, okay. That is the answer. Tyke, a tot, a small child. Granite State campus in brief. Okay, what's the Granite State? Is it Utah? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Spike of Cinema, Spike Lee, the film director. I'm sure that would be the answer there. Portlandia Error. All right. I don't think this is still on, but this was a sketch comedy show set in Portland, and it aired on IFC, the independent film channel, I'm fairly certain. Fruits that are 87% water. I don't know. I mean, I could imagine this probably applying to a few fruits, maybe pears, plums. I'm not really sure. And 5 letters starting with a P. Those are the first ones that come to mind. There might be others. Dry like some Rioja wine. This will be something like sec, but it'll be the Spanish equivalent of that, and I'm not sure offhand what that is. Let's see. What about this? Oh, here's another film-related clue. With 23 across, second film to win all 5 major Academy Awards. 1975. Interesting. Oh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There we go. Oh, I see. And so it's not that we're using the film titles and turning them into a punny thing. It's that we're treating them like a sort of visual pun, or what you call a rebus outside of a New York Times crossword context. So we have One Flew, and that is literally over the cuckoo's nest. There we go. That is a great film. I didn't know that fact. Second film to win all 5 major Academy Awards. I wonder what the first one was. Okay, fruits that are... Okay, so the fruits are the plums. There we go. Dry... Oh, it'll be secco. Right, okay. That makes sense. As an ending to a Spanish word. Okay, so there we have it. That'll be that. And then word before, so for dry. And then word before likely or wanted. Most likely or most wanted. Those are common phrases. And calendar units here are weeks. It's one of the units of time measured on a calendar or depicted on a calendar. Plains tribe looks like the Oto to me. So there's an indigenous tribe of North America. And then past would be ago if you said That was 3 months past. It was 3 months ago. Part of 108 down. Should I look at 108 down? Why not? I'll do it. Bruins home in brief. Right. Okay. So the Bruins are the the Bruin is the mascot of UCLA, the University of California at Los Angeles. I hope that's right. It'll be really embarrassing if it's wrong, because I went to a different UC school, UC Berkeley. So I'm sort of generally aware of UCLA. Okay, the University of California. High altitude grazer. An alpaca? That would make sense. And, oh, right, I forgot about this. Part of 108 down. So UCLA, right, as I say, the University of California at Los Angeles. So part of that would be the loss from Los Angeles. Opposite of a rave would be a pan, so a negative film review, for instance, as opposed to a rave, a positive film review. Doesn't need to be of a film, but it seems appropriate given the film theme today. To leave someone gobsmacked is to awe them. The subject of sticker shock would be the cost of something that is presumably very high. Lead into cumulus. So I assume this is referring to the cloud. So alto cumulus, alto for high, and I don't remember what cumulus specifically indicates. So here this has been filled in. Disappear unexpectedly, to go AWOL. So there's a bit of military jargon. Okay, labors away at, toils over, I'm not sure. Put into effect, to enact, to carry out, to implement. Implement might fit. It does. Let's see. Does that work? Long of Hollywood. Oh, there's a Nia Long. Maybe this is wrong. Let's just go back to the filling them in the ordinary pattern. Jazz pianist blank Jamal. Not sure offhand. I wonder if I'll recognize the name when I see it. Like ships at harbor. They're docked, I assume. Land united by Theseus. Hopefully also something I recognize. Tampa's blank arena. I haven't a clue about that. That'll be a sports venue, presumably. Warm offering at a sushi bar. Warm offering. Miso soup? No. It's not really a sushi. Well, no, yeah, you would find that at a sushi bar. But it's obviously not the answer. What is this? What else would be a warm offering at a hot sake? There we go. Hot, because hot sake can be served hot or cold. Line of Android smartphones. I do not know. Oh, right. Here's the semi-autobiographical film. Right. Okay. So I think we can assume from our One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest answer that these are all going to be clued in sort of visually punny ways, but presumably different ways. So they're not all going to have over. This will have something, maybe something in something else, because we'll have maybe the shaded thing inside a longer word. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if these, right, okay, the circles are dealing with 41 across, not 16 down. So the blockbuster sequel with an iconic plot twist, 1980. Oh, The Empire Strikes Back. How much of that can we get in before we need to deal with a pun? Maybe strikes will be spelled backwards. Yeah, right, that is the case. Okay. There we go. The Empire Securts. So strikes back. Strikes is spelled literally backwards. And in cryptic crosswords, back is often used as a reversal indicator in that same way. Okay, so that's that. So what is this film set in rural Montana? I'm not sure. I'll need more crosses. Dressed, so to speak. Pub diversion. Oh, pub diversion. Game of darts would be a common pub game. Land united by Theseus. Line of Android smartphones. What about this? Long of, okay, so maybe this is Nia Long. And then here we have put into effect, I don't know why I can't quite see that. Tampa's blank arena. Yeah, okay. I don't know why I think I'm gonna know that. I won't. All right. Okay. Well, I'm a little stuck up there, aren't I? Must be something I ate is a thing. You might also hear must be something I said, but that wouldn't fit in this space. A praying mantis has just one found on its stomach. Ear? Wow, I didn't know that. That's fascinating. Heavy bass, question mark. So maybe a heavy bass is the punniness because the question mark indicates a pun. I'm not sure. Heavy bass, heavy bass. I'm not sure. HS class, so high school class, could be lots of things. Lit, bio, uh, science, I guess. I don't know. That's a little generic, perhaps. Maybe there aren't too many possibilities. Do something, to act. So this could be what? B for, oh, how heavy bass is a tuba? It's a physically large and heavy instrument that plays in a low range. So a tuba. There we go. High school class. So there we go. It's bio for biology. A booze hound is a drunk. A sot is a slightly quaint term for that, as is, I suppose, booze hound. So, right. So what is this film? I'm still not sure. Sorry. And here we have like many Instagram influencers. Not really sure what we're looking for there. Actress Brosnahan of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I've never actually seen this, but I've heard good things about it. Rachel? Sort of sounds familiar. Let's see. Midwest Metropolis. Cleveland? Seems pretty plausible as an abbreviation. Answer here. Bounce back. Oh, maybe not. I want bounce back to be echo. Oh, so it's Chicago. There we go. Okay, fine. That's perfectly reasonable. Midwest Metropolis, Chicago, the classic Midwest Metropolis. Put into effect, instigate. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So labors away at does look like toils, doesn't it? Labors away at toils. Maybe it is toils over. That was my first thought. But I just don't, not a phrase I hear very often. He toils over it. Yeah, I don't know. I would think maybe something more like toils away at or something, but there we go. I mean, it works. Line of Android smartphones. Right. I still don't think I know this. And dressed, so to speak. Tolkien. Oh, didn't look at this clue. Tolkien's Treebeard, for example. An ent, one of the sort of, I don't know, ambulatory tree characters from those books. Semi-autobiographical film. What is this word in the shaded area? I can't really see. And I don't know this. Okay, well, I've got almost all the help I'm going to get. The only real additional help I'm going to get for any of these clues is this letter here from this Instagram influencer's clue, and that might give me something. I don't know. Oh, decent, as in, right, are you decent, you might ask, and that's a bit quaint as well, but that refers to being dressed. Are you decent or not? In the sense of if you weren't dressed, you wouldn't be in a state to receive, a guest or whatever. Oh, Attica, land united by Theseus. Attica, that sounds right. I mean, it's certainly geographically plausible. So what is this? Kiver. Oh, the river runs through it. So this isn't docked. Is it? What is it? What am I missing here? Sorry, I'm not quite getting the pun. Like ships. Oh, moored. Right, the ships are moored at Harvard. There we go. That's perfectly reasonable. So Tampa's. I can't really see what's going on here. I feel as though, Moto is a Motorola smartphone line. I didn't realize that was still around. I guess it is. Oh, Ahmed Jamal. Oh, that does sound familiar. So what is this? Oh, Ahmad with an A because it's a river. How does that? Sorry, I'm not quite seeing the pun. I'm really sorry about this. I'm sure many of you are yelling at me about how I can parse this properly. A river runs. Oh no, right. It does use. Sorry, I'm sorry. I completely forgot that once I solved The Empire Strikes Back, I should have immediately commented. I should have thought and then commented that these circled cells are not involved in that one. They are involved here. A river does run through it. Literally, the word "it." These two letters here. Wow. Okay. I was extremely slow to pick that up, but there we have it. So okay, so we have The Empire Strikes Back. A river runs through it. They're using uh, completely different mechanisms here, and the "it" is part of the river one. All right, there we go. I can finally move on. Spacecraft for NASA's Artemis 1 mission. I'm not sure offhand. Send as payment, to remit payment. Certain religious leaders, well, with that M there, it looks like imams to me in Islam. Mayberry character. So I only sort of vaguely know this from cultural osmosis. I've never seen this, but the character Opie, played by Ron Howard as a child television star, pretty sure that's right. Author Anais Nin, famous diarist, and Orion, spacecraft for NASA's Artemis 1 mission. There we go. Okay, that looks right. So what an opener precedes. An opener precedes a main act. So if you open for a band, uh, you'd be playing before the main act. If something's held, it's had, or not sure. Like many fourth graders, 10 years old? That sounds plausible. I think that's probably right. Animated dinosaur film that spawned 13 sequels, The Land Before Time. So I think we're simply going to spell the land and then time because we're putting the words the land before the word time. As simple as that. I guess probably the most straightforward one of these yet. Okay, so hell does look like had. That's, yeah, surprisingly straightforward. Ultimate medical breakthrough, a panacea, which would be a cure-all, something that, is a remedy for any ill. To enjoy a cuppa is to have a cup of tea. So a cuppa in British English implies a cup of tea, but I'm not quite sure I see what it's telling us. Oh, I see sip tea. To enjoy a cuppa would be to sip tea. Okay, fair enough. Native Americans of Nebraska, I'm not sure actually here. I don't quite see it just yet. Districts in New York City and London, Soho. So the original Soho here in London. But New York City also has a district called Soho. I think the original origin of the phrase in London is not. I think it's not 100% known, but I think by far the most accepted explanation was that it was the site of royal hunting grounds, and Soho was a sort of hunting cry, and that is what gave the area its name. I'm always skeptical of things like that, but I think that is the most commonly accepted version of the story. Anyway, Native Americans of Nebraska, Omahas. There we go. That sounds right. Namesake of the city, Omaha, Nebraska. That's my cue. I'm on. You could be in a play or something, and there's your cue to enter onto the stage. You can believe it. Honest. So you can believe it, being in quotation marks here, means it's something that you would state. And similarly, you could say, you can believe it. Honest. It would be a plea, essentially, or a claim. Oil holder may be an easel, so would hold an oil painting. And at the ready, if you're at the ready, you're on, I'm not sure, I don't see it. Dietary measure, calorie. There we go, straightforward. Rocket-shaped candy is don't know. Do I know this? I'm not sure if I know this at all. Romantic dramedy directed by Sofia Coppola, 2003. Lost in translation. So I think we'll put the word lost inside of the word translation. So we can see here the end of lation. The problem is we don't know where inside of this the lost goes. We'll need crosses to help us fill that in. So we'll have to come back to that. This looks short. Blank nothing. It's nothing, you might say. Pay it no mind. Much of a waiter's income typically is tips, which certainly in the US is often the case. And rocket-shaped candy, Astropop, I guess? Don't think I know that, but I kept trying to think of something that felt space related. Astro sounds good, and then 3 letters with a P on the end. It'll be some sort of lollipop that's conical, maybe. Anyway, some golf scores are pars. If it was a par 3 hole and you achieved the hole in 3 strikes, you would be at par. That would be your score. Like many outstretched catches, open arm, open hand, open fist, open palm. I'm not sure. I wanted to begin with open. Here we have ire, a livid state, so ire, anger. That's good. So, oh no, this isn't open. That doesn't work with the translation. So, well, here we can see that we can't start the lost bit yet because of this S, so we have to continue the oh, and there we've spelled translation entirely, so now we can put lost in. There we go. Great. Okay, well, that worked out, even though I didn't solve this clue, as it turned out. Like many outstretched catches, one-handed? Yeah, I suppose that's it. You've stretched out your arm. The Simpsons' grandpa. Oh, Grandpa Abe from The Simpsons, Abe Simpson. Entertainment at many a wedding. I'm not sure. Here we have Lucille Clifton's Homage to My Hips. For one, it must be the official poetic form of the New York Times crossword, the Ode. I am not familiar with this poem, but it sounds intriguing. They deal with a lot of baggage, for short. The TSA, the Transport Security Administration or Agency. Yogi Bear wears one despite having no shirt. A T, I suppose. No, a tie. I was going to say, that doesn't make sense that he has no shirt and yet he's wearing a t-shirt, but of course it doesn't make sense because it's wrong. The answer is a tie, which of course he does wear. He wears a necktie, and I think he has a sort of collar and a necktie, but the collar isn't attached to a shirt. Locale for an orchestra, the orchestra pit in a symphony hall or an opera house. Okay, oh, I see. Photogenic, many Instagram influencers. Oh, so this is not correct. Oh, instigate. It's not instigate, it's institute, right? Which actually worked completely fine with this lost in translation clue. So I got a little bit lucky there. So photogenic, there we go. Right away, boss, on it. Arles article. So Arles, this is a place in France, and as is often the case when we're referencing a place in this manner in a clue, it's simply a language indicator. This just means we're looking for an answer in French. So an article, in this case, the feminine indefinite article, so the equivalent of a or an in English, but applied to feminine nouns would be une. So there we go. Digital location markers are geotags, I think, is a phrase I've certainly heard used. And iceberg and others are lettuces, iceberg lettuce. Okay, book after Leviticus. Okay, I wouldn't have known this if you asked me without giving me any crosses, but it is the book of Numbers in the Bible, so there we go. Blank acid, amino acid, there we go. Important sort of nutritional concept, I suppose. Madrid or Barcelona, por ejemplo. These are cities, and again, in this case, it's not so much the city names that are serving as the language indicator, but rather the words being written in the Spanish language themselves. And I'm trying, is it cuidad? I think that's Spanish for city. I was slightly killing time there to rack my brain, and I'm pretty sure that's right. Is that right? Am I confusing that with cuidado for sort of warning or beware? I think it's close to this if this isn't the answer. Let's see. So I'll look at the crosses and see if I can confirm or deny. Salacious is racy. Physicist Fermi is Enrico Fermi, the famous physicist. Bono and Liston. Oh, Sonny Bono and Sonny Liston. So Sonny Bono, the musician, and Sonny Liston, the boxer. So those are two examples of Sonny's. Here we have precursor to Windows was MS-DOS, Microsoft Disk Operating System, which was indeed the precursor operating system to Windows. So I think, let's look at the crosses here. Started off gently, eased in, and Coen Brothers farce involving the CIA. That is the film Burn After Reading. So we're doing exactly the opposite of The Land Before Time, but same idea. We're reading Burn, so Burn After Reading. There we go. So this looks correct. I think Madrid or Barcelona, por ejemplo, has been solved. Good, that's a relief. The Hurt Locker Danger for short would be, so that's a film, it was a war film, the Catherine Bigelow film, and IEDs, improvised explosive devices. That is what I was trying to think of. That was a hazard famously in that film. Horses vote nay? I think this is just the question mark. It's just a very simple, silly pun, and it's trading on the fact that nay for no in voting sounds like a horse's neigh, N-E-I-G-H. So there we go. Okay, crime thriller that takes some liberties with its namesake legal concept. Double Jeopardy? I don't think I've seen this, but oh no, it would be Jeopardy written twice. Sorry, I had that in my head, and then I immediately started typing the word double. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, I've not seen it, but I'm not surprised that it takes some liberties there. I think, what is that you can't be tried for the same crime twice or something? I don't remember exactly the mechanics of Double Jeopardy, but I'm not surprised at all that a film would stretch and torture that concept for dramatic purposes. Anyway, entertainment at many a wedding. Well, it looks like it ends with DJ. A lone DJ? That would seem a little odd. I don't think that's the answer. But surely DJ is correct. One's agreeing silently would be nodders. You can agree silently by nodding. So there we go. Delish, you might say, to stretch out your comment expressing enjoyment of a meal. Classic cars, REOs, so that's a defunct car manufacturer. University of Maryland athletes, Terps. There we go, for Terrapins, I believe. And longtime NBA executive, well, as always, I'm not the person to ask about this. Someone Ujiri. Unsurprisingly, I don't know. OMG, enough already. TMI, too much information. Put a lid on it, you might say. We have quite a few exclamations in this puzzle. Here's put a lid on it. We have OMG, enough already. I think that's my cue. We had one that, delish. Yeah, they're all over the place in this puzzle. Ooh, sorry. We have one I've not yet gotten to. Well, fancy that. Anyway, come back to this. OMG, enough already. TMI, too much information. So Masai, that's a name. So that could well be the answer. Nail polish brand. Oh no. This is a tough cross for me. We've got two proper nouns. We've got a brand name and a person's name. So APR reducer, potentially. So APR is annualized percentage rate of a loan. So you could refinance the loan, refi. So I'm going to assume that Masai is correct because that is indeed a name, and SE looks plausible to me as also a name of something. So I'm just going to assume that's correct. I'll try and remember to revisit that if the puzzle doesn't validate. German title, Frau for Mrs. or Miss in German. And many shelter pups are mutts, so mixed breed dogs. ICU workers could be RNs for registered nurses. And Pulitzer Prize winner for A Death in the Family, Egi. I always forget if I'm pronouncing this name properly as AG or Agi. I'm pretty sure it's Agi. Really sorry about that. It's so frustrating how I'll encounter these things multiple times and then not and still continue to question myself about it and not remember. Anyway, prefix offering. So that is literally fixed price in French, and when used, the most common context you'd find that in would be a set menu at a restaurant. So it's just a list of what you're going to get course by course with a fixed price, although sometimes you can choose an option. Global Economic Organization, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, I think that'll be right. Well, fancy that. G, straightforwardly. West southwest's opposite would be east northeast, straightforward. Boring routine, you're in a bit of a rut, you're in a boring routine. Oh, what is this? Deliberately procrastinate. S feet. Okay, well, I have something wrong then. Deliberately procrastinate. Is Aggie wrong? Could be. That wouldn't necessarily help. Well, fancy that. What am I missing here? Deliberately. Oh, drag one's feet? What? I could see how that would be the sort of end of that phrase. Oh. Sorry, I just noticed this. With an unseen portion of 128 across, Oscar-winning martial arts film. So that it is drag one. It is drag. This is essentially drag one's feet, but we're missing the dragon bit. We're pulling dragon out because it's the hidden dragon from the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That is a bonkers. That's a bonkers compound clue. I'm kind of glad I solved it in this order so that I had this moment of complete bafflement. Okay, well, there we go. That explains that. Okay, idiot in Brit speak. Idiot in Brit speak. I'm sure I'll know it when I see it, but I can't think off the top of my head. Poet's planet would be an orb, so often used to refer to a planetary body or a celestial body of other kinds in poetry. ACC school, is this some sort of athletic conference maybe? I'm not sure. Garfield or Sylvester. Those are cartoon cats, so either one of them is a cat. Oh, this is funny. This is a funny way to demonstrate this. So when you see a clue that lists two options with an or I suppose it could be more than two options, we're only referring to one of them. That's what the or is doing. So it's a singular clue. We're not referring to cats. We're referring to a cat, either Garfield or Sylvester. Whereas here, it says Garfield and Sylvester. So we'll need an answer that incorporates both. But I don't yet know what that's looking for. Will it end with an S? Home, oh, it is. It will. Home visits. At bats. So that's home plate in baseball. Right, okay. So if you're at bat, you're literally visiting the home plate. That's where you're standing in order to hit the ball. Okay, so Garfield and Sylvester are high schools? HSs? I don't know what this is. Caterpillars, e.g. Larvae. Oh, he's? Are they? Is it simply that they're male names? Is that it? Oh, that's very funny. In any case, it's a very funny illustration of this concept that I sometimes mention, the difference between or clues and clues and what it means in terms of what you can infer quickly about the answer. Anyway, caterpillars, e.g., that's the larval stage. So larvae, that's it. So this is he's. That's very funny. Okay, idiot. Oh, a prat. Of course, a prat is an idiot in British English. There we go. Don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, but I didn't. Practiced hypergamy. So this is marrying many people or married. Oh no, is it marrying above your station? Maybe hyper as in sort of above or higher. Married up. That makes sense. As opposed to polygamy, which is marrying multiple people. Okay, so I think that's probably the case. I don't think I'm familiar with that word, but it sounds logical. Door parts, a door jam, so pluralized door jams. Down's counterpart, abbreviation, down. What can down mean other than down and up? Could be down as in, down, like duck down, that you'd stuff a pillow with, for instance. But I don't know what the counterpart of that would be. Not quite seeing this, sorry. Cousin of Euchre. This is a card game. Oh, I know this, but I can't think of what it is. It's annoying. Gets good and hot at the beach. Bakes or burns, browns, that would be weird. Uproar. A riot. Possessive preceding pieces and puffs. So these being capitalized makes this look like a brand name, which indeed it is, Reese's. Reese's Pieces or Reese's Puffs. I don't know Reese's Puffs, but it must be another peanut butter chocolate snack, presumably. Reese's Pieces being chocolate peanut butter cups. Driving aid, so a tee is an aid in a golf drive. It's where obviously the ball is situated on the tee. Rolled doll heroine, Matilda. There we go. There are some new Roald Dahl adaptations by Wes Anderson that have showed up on Netflix, and I watched 2 of them last night. The Wonderful Story or something like that of Henry Sugar, which is actually not one of the Roald Dahl stories I remember reading as a child. I read many of his books, but I don't remember reading that story. And then The Swan, another short story. And those were the 2 I watched last night. I think there were 2 more. They were fun. Anyway, gets good and hot at the beach. Broils? Moved confidently. Matilda I did read as a child, and I really liked that book. Okay, moved confidently, strode through the town, say. And donde está, where are you, in Spanish. So quite a lot of, we've had French, German, and Spanish today in the puzzle, I think. And more than one Spanish clue. So at least 4 foreign language clues so far today. Cousin of Euchre, oh, a cart, there we go. That's, excuse me, that's what I was looking for. So this is broils, gets good and hot at the beach. So I think that just means broils in the sense of metaphorically heating up. Sorry, I had to pause there for a moment to take a sip of water. Anyway, down's counterpart. Oh, is it down and across? Is it crossword cluing? Right, okay, of course. So dark comedy about a carnivorous plant, 1960 or 1986. Little Shop of Horrors? Oh, across, I guess ACR, of course. It doesn't have 2 C's in it. What was I thinking? So Little Shop of Horrors. How are we representing this punnily? I'm not sure. What about this? Verbally hesitate, to hem and haw. Part of a dance would be a dance step. It might leave you smooth or rattled. Something shake? Is that right? Beyonce's If I Were a Boy. That must be the answer. Don't think I know the song, but it sounds plausible. And entertainment at many a wedding. What do I don't, maybe this isn't shake. What on earth is this? Here we have name that's also a state abbreviation. Ida for Idaho. A entertainment at many a wedding. Live DJ. I don't know why that was so elusive. So here we have a close shave. It might leave you smooth or rattled. That's clever because obviously if you shaved yourself, you gave yourself a close shave, your skin would be smooth, but also a close shave is used to refer to a near accident. So you'd be nervous and rattled after it. Okay, so what is going on at the Little Shop of Horrors? Maybe we need a word for little shop or something? Oh, maybe we literally put the word shop in a rebus and make it small. Wow, okay, so that wasn't expecting there to be a rebus today. So in this sense anyway. So there's a function in the New York Times crossword, if you're not familiar with this, which there are always people who are unaware this exists, and I can't blame them for that, because how on earth would you assume this is the case if you didn't already know, you can enter any number of letters into a cell in any New York Times crossword by enabling the rebus function, which is here on the website, but I think is a button on the virtual keyboard on the smartphone app, and you can enter any number of letters you like. And then the obvious follow-up question to that is, well, how do you know when that needs to happen? The answer is you just have to intuit it. You have to figure it out based on the theme of the crossword. And today I just couldn't think of any other way to make the Little Shop of Horrors pun work, so I put that in. And hopefully when I go to the acrossus now, it actually bears out. Certain chess piece. Maybe this is nothing. Certain chess piece. A bishop, right. Okay, it does work, of course. There we go. So we have a bishop and we have our Little Shop of Horrors. Very good. So we're just about done with the puzzle. Early alphabet trio would be BCD, as opposed to trio of letters in the alphabet. And Paris's Ile de la Cité, so that is island, little island in the Seine in Paris. So there we have Ile, and here we have artfully nimble. If you're artfully nimble, you're deft. You're expert at often doing something with your hands. And there we go. That was a long solve, but we got through it with a funny twist at the end. I'm very pleased. I'm glad that I ended up solving these in the order I did. This sort of hidden dragon bit here, I'm glad that I saw this before I saw this clue, which would have let me know something was going on here before going in. So it was fun solving it in that order. And then I'm glad I got the rebus as the very last little bit of a visual pun to solve, because it was, I think, maximally surprising at this point, because we'd filled the entire rest of the grid without there being a rebus. And it's fairly unusual to just have a single rebus cell in a puzzle. Usually it's part of a recurring concept in a theme, but not today. So there we have it. Let's look at our puns. Here we had one flew over the cuckoo's nest. We have a river runs through it. I think the shaded cells here actually threw me off because I thought they were going to be important to the punniness. They're not really. It's just sort of there to draw attention to the river running through it, but I think they actually threw me off, to be honest. Anyway, here we have the Empire Strikes Back. We have the land before time. We have lost in translation. We have here the Little Shop of Horrors. We have burn after reading. We have double jeopardy. And I think the last is we have crouching tiger, hidden dragon. And I think that was all of them. I don't think I missed any there, but let me know if I did. Anyway, those were our film adaptations. We adapted our film titles into crossword-friendly visual puns. And there we have it. That was that. A fun Sunday puzzle with lots of exclamations and lots of foreign language. And, oh, right, yeah, we had this dry, like some Rioja wine. There's another one. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed it. I will also now read a couple of comments from yesterday's puzzle. So let's wrap up with that. What do we have? From Telegnostic, we have an explanation of honeydew. Honeydew has two meanings. One is a melon, and the other is a sweet secretion produced by certain insects like aphids. So there we go. And then Telegnostic finishes with with an unattributed poetic quote, but this is the end of the poem Xanadu by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and it is, "Weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise." So there we have it, a very nice poetic deployment of the word that was just explained to me. And Brian Parente explains Isaiah Thomas is in fact pronounced in the normal way, like Isaiah, not Isaiah, as I was speculating, based on its spelling. So sorry about that, and I will hopefully remember that going forward. Anyway, there we have it. Those are the clues from yesterday's puzzle. That was today's solve. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow for the Monday crossword, a much simpler, much quicker solve, I am sure. Still with a theme, though. Probably not a rebus, but you never know. Anyway, do join me for that. But until then, please do have an excellent remainder of your Sunday. Take care.